Today we're doing lesson 2.9, which is the last lesson that's going to be covered in your quiz that's this Friday. Okay, remember your quiz will be from 2.1 all the way to 2.9. As you can see, 2.9 is all about word problems because your learning goal today is to use what you know about multiplication, which you know a lot about multiplication now, and also tape diagrams to solve word problems that have multiple steps, okay? Again, when we have multiple step word problems, does that mean it's hard? No. Does it just mean that there's more steps? And each step could be a chance to make a silly calculation mistake, right? So when you do especially multi-step problems, you want to make sure you're being very precise and very careful. You can see that one of our math practice standards, which is the way we should be doing math, is to be precise. That means when you're doing multiplication, to line up all your place values, or to use the correct math facts, or to add things up, or add the correct number of placeholder zeros, okay? When we do multi-step problems, it's important that you're more precise than you normally even would be, because if you mess up on the first step, does that mean you'll mess up on the second step too? Yeah. Yeah, okay, so you have to be really precise. Okay, as Marvin noticed, it should not say and, but it should say and, right? An office space in New York City measures 48 feet by 56 feet. If it sells for $565 per square foot, what is the total cost of the office space? Okay, Jaden, your hand shot right up. What is the question asking?
What is the total cost of the office space?
Good. We're trying to figure out how much it costs to buy that office space. Jithya, what important information do we need to know?
That, it measures 48 feet by 56 square feet.
Okay. And?
It costs $565 per square foot.
Very good. Now, keeping in mind that this is a multi-step problem. That means there's many steps, more than one step that we're going to have to do. What's the first thing that we're going to have to do? The first step would be to, Stella?
Multiply 48 and 56.
When we multiply 48 by 56, we're finding the product in order to find the
total square foot,
which is called the area, right? We first have to find the area, and then based on whatever the area is, we have to do the area times the dollar amount per price, which is $565, in order to find the total, what? Total cost, yeah, okay. So we can see right away from reading the problem that there's two steps that we need to do. The first step is going to be to find the area, and the second step is to find the total cost. Okay, remember that we're also using models, okay, tape diagrams or area models. So how can I find the area? Let's do step 1 first. How can I find the area? I need to multiply 48 by 56, right, in order to find the area. So if I'm going to split that up, if I want to do it area model way, I can split 56 up into what two numbers? Everyone? 50 and 6. I'm going to erase that. I'm going to do 50 and 6. I'm going to split it this way. Okay, similarly, 48 can be split into what two numbers? 40 plus 8. So now I just have to find the area of those 4 different parts, right? Okay, to find the first area, I can do 40 times 50. So I can just do 4 times 5, which is 20. And then how many multiples of 10 do I have?
2.
So I add 2 zeros. Okay. To find this area, I could do 40 times 6. So I can just do 4 times 6, which is 24. And then how many factors of 10 do I have?
1.
So 1, 0. Good. To find this one down here, I have to do 8 times 50. So I can just do 8 times 8 times 5, which is?
40.
And then add how many more zeros?
1.
Good. And then over here, I just have 8 times 6, which is? 48. Now that I have 4 partial products, I can just add them up to find the total area. So 2,000 plus 240 plus 400 plus 48. This is where we have to be very careful because this is honestly the step that most of you are making a mistake. Okay? Sometimes your zeros look like 6s, so you think it's a 6. Sometimes your zeros look like 8s, so you think it's an 8. Sometimes you're just not being careful. So how many 1s do I have altogether?
8.
8. How many 10s do I have altogether?
8.
How many hundreds do I have altogether?
6.
How many thousands do I have altogether?
2.
So 2,688 is my answer to only step 1 of the problem, right? And here's how we used a model to find the area. So that means that the total area, the total size of the office space, is 2,688 square feet. If I think I'm done, I need to go back and read the problem. It says, what is the total cost of the office space? Does this help me find the total cost of the office space? No. In order to find total cost, I have to do the second step of my multi-step problem, which is finding doing the area times 565 because each of those 2,688 square feet costs $565. So I can do 2,688 and I can multiply that by what? 565. If I was going to draw this using a tape diagram, how would I do that? I could show that 1 square foot costs how much money? $565, right? And then the second square foot is another 565. And I could do dot, dot, dot all the way until I have how many square feet?
2,688.
Yeah, okay. And that one also cost $565. Does that make sense? So this could be how you draw a tape diagram. Okay, let's do our multiplication using our standard algorithm. First, we're going to multiply 5 times 2,688, right? So Haley, first I do 5 times 8, which is?
40.
Good. So I write the 0 and I regroup the 4. Then I do 5 times 8 again, which is still what? But this time I have to add 4, so I have 44. Okay. Then I do 5 times 6, which is what, Haley? 30 plus 4 is? 34. Good. So I write the 4 and write 3 up there. Then I have 5 times 2, which is what, Haley?
10.
Plus 3 is? 13. Okay. Now I'm moving on to my next digit. What's my next digit that I'm really working with, Eva?
6.
Is it 6? It's really 6D. Good. So show that I'm doing 60. How many placeholder zeros do I need to draw? 1. Or right, I should say. Okay. Then I do 6 times 8, everyone, which is?
48.
48. So I put the 4 up here. Again, 6 times 8 is?
48.
Plus 4 is?
52.
52. Okay. Oops. Sorry. I should be writing the 2 there. Okay. Put the 5 up here. Then I do 6 times 6, which is? 36 plus 5 is? 41. Good. And I do 6 times 2, which is? 12 plus 4 is? 12 plus 4 is? Okay. If you said 17, that's again an example of you not being careful. Right? Okay. Good. Now we're moving on to the 5, but the 5 is really what number? 500. So what does that mean? We need to write 2 placeholder zeros, right? Do you ready to do 5 times 2,688? It was up here, right? Do you see that? So I can just really copy those digits in the same order. Do you see how that works? Right? Okay. Now I can add to find the total product. How many 1s do I have altogether?
0.
How many 10s do I have?
12.
12, so I can write the 2, but regroup the 1. How many hundreds do I have? 7, okay. How many thousands do I have? 8. How many 10,000s do I have? 11, so I'll write the 1 and regroup the other one. How many 100,000s do I have? 5. And how many millions do I have? So my total cost is 1,518,720. Okay. Do you see how it was not hard? You just have to use multiplication, right? But there's 2 steps. And if I messed up in finding the area, would I get the correct cost? No. So when I do multi-step problems, I have to really be careful to be precise. So far we found out that Gemma made 106 necklaces and Leah made 145 necklaces, right? So altogether, how many necklaces did they make? 251 necklaces. Okay. Now, if each necklace has exactly 104 beads, how can I figure out how many beads were used all together? Jithia?
You can multiply 251 by 104.
So I can do 251 multiplied by 104. What kinds of strategies do we have to do that? We could use an area model, or we could use what? Standard algorithm. Okay, go ahead and choose one and multiply 251 times 104. So after we multiply 251 by 104, we see that the answer is 26,104. If you wrote that, I would mark your answer wrong. Why? It needs the word beads. Very good. Okay. So do you see how part 1? You first needed, it was multi-step again, right? We had to figure out how many necklaces Gemma made, how many necklaces Leah made, and then how many necklaces they made all together before we could find out how many beads they used all together. Was any part of that hard? No. But are there lots of steps?
Yes.
Did you have to figure out yourself what the steps would be in order to solve this problem?
Yes.
And you have to make precise calculations on each step, otherwise you'll make mistakes, right? Okay, let's move on to part 2. Okay, so this question is asking us to find out who made more money at the craft fair and also how much more. How can we find out how much money Gemma made altogether? Based on our previous calculations, or our previous understandings, how many necklaces did Gemma make altogether? 106 necklaces. And how much did she sell each one for? $14. So if I multiply 106 times 14, will that tell me how much Gemma made? Yes. Okay. What about Leah? How many necklaces did Leah make altogether? 145. And is she also selling each one for $14? No. How much is she charging for each of her necklaces? 24, because it's $10 more than what Gemma's selling, which is 14. So in order to find out how much money she made, we'd have to do 145 times 24, right? Okay. Once you do that, can you find out who made more? Yeah. Right? And then, well, in order to, do we have to subtract in order to figure out who made more? No. We have to subtract to find out how much more. Okay, so go ahead and work with the people at your table group to figure that out.